Morning, folks. How y'all doing? Well, time flies, and here we are again, 1 week later. And look, I'm gonna admit it. I've been incredibly busy, incredibly lazy. Somehow I've still been able to produce pretty much as much content as a professional YouTuber. But before we jump into this week's breakdown of Boogie, I have something, kind of personal to cover. Boogie, would you like to unblock me on your Twitter, please? You made it slightly more difficult for me to follow you, which is annoying, but it's honestly just made me more determined. And yes, guys, this is real. He did block me. And no, I wasn't even mean or anything like that. I actually work off the idea that you really shouldn't be mean to like lol cows and stuff like that online. Like I know I actually got a lot of shit for that, but I actually don't think you should be mean. I don't think you should wish them dead or anything like that. I just kind of let them do their own thing because eventually they will cause their own drama, and it's always funnier when they cause their own drama. All I knew is that suddenly there's no morbid obese man screaming on my timeline. I went and checked, and I found out, yes, I had been blocked. So, unfortunately, guys, just like his ex-wife and his ex-girlfriend, my tweets are now going to have to get very blacked. Also, hey Boogie, since you blocked me randomly and suddenly, it's pretty fucking obvious you've actually been watching my shitty low-quality videos from my 60 subscriber account. So, like and subscribe, Boogie. If we work together one day, you can cry that I'm punching down at you as well. And honestly, with the view count you're pulling in, that actually may unironically fucking happen. But my own shit aside, I said I didn't want to make another one of these videos, and I kind of didn't. But then he blocked me, and then he made some really stupid takes, so. Fuck it, here we are again. I'll give a wee general channel update though at the end of the video, so if you really can be fucked, hang about for that, I guess. So, for those who didn't watch last week, just imagine like a morbidly obese man just sitting in his bedroom by himself, screaming at his phone because he's too lazy to type, clutching a Daki Macra and trying to convince you that it's a 10 out of 10 supermodel girlfriend. And everything he screams about is generally that anyone who talks to him is bullying him, whilst he gives like the stupidest takes in the world. He loses and bans about 1,000 people off Twitter, gets basically no views on his terrible fucking videos, and then it's just generally an absolute fucking arse to everyone in the world, and then falls back on, oh, but my mental health, guys. That's pretty much it. And yeah, I'm going to spoil it for you guys. This week is exactly the fucking same. So, late at night on the 15th of May, going into the 16th, Boogie just suddenly takes like a strong stance, saying he's sick of politics being stuck into everything, and starts talking about people being shot for like the 300th day in a row. More than likely, it's a reference to the Buffalo shooting, which occurred on the 12th of May. So, look, I want to give Boogie the tiniest amount of credit, because it took him nearly 4 full days before he somehow made a tragedy about himself. I do like a silly comment though, where he's just like, "Oh, guys, I just wish I could just turn off social media and just enjoy movies and games without politics being stuck down my throat." Okay, well, firstly, he can never turn off social media because he is addicted to it. Because like he'll post thousands upon thousands of tweets per fucking month. And secondly, like, look, he lent into the SJW thing a lot. He really celebrated real world politics being forced into movies and all, accurate representation, all this kind of malarkey. He wanted them all to be changed to bring this stuff in, and now he's suddenly opposed to it. Like Boogie will routinely boast that the gaming store he put, a tiny amount of money in and claims that it's like his store. It's a registered LGBT safe place, which he wanted to upset the KKK. Like Boogie very deliberately inserts politics into even like Magic the fucking Gathering, a game played exclusively by 400-pound white dudes who've never even fucking seen a woman. And no, do not fucking at me at that. I am factually correct. The whole thing just rings hollow though, because everyone knows Boogie by now. He can't watch the newest MCU movie without going on Twitter and YouTube to suddenly say everyone's ableist because they don't like Scarlet Witch. Later this week, he gushes because a Magic the Gathering card came out where the character's fat, and apparently it's super woke and amazing because it's not like a funny, silly, haha gimmick. He then watches some dude on TikTok trying to lift like 500 pounds for the first time, and he literally responds to it to compare it to Roe versus Wade. This is just what Boogie does. It's so silly. It's just him being him. He gets too much pushback. He suddenly goes, "Oh, I don't like all this fighting online." So of course he stays up to about 3 a.m. just tweeting at people randomly saying this is why he stopped covering video games because they're too political, and how like Pac-Man didn't have politics in it. It's fucking nonsense. The reason I'm just bringing this up is because he then wakes up at 3 p.m., pretends he actually woke up at 9 a.m., and guys, the day has just flown by when he's only watched a 30-minute YouTube video, had breakfast, and had a shower. Yeah, okay, Boogs. He's currently in this weird new phase where he's pretending he's getting his life in order because he's doing boxing training, which leads us to Okay, look, I don't know what my demographics are on YouTube, but I don't really think I need to go in depth here to explain to you guys how terrible this looks. His stance is wrong, the way he's controlling the weight is wrong, the way he leans is wrong, the way he lifts his shoulders are wrong. Everything is wrong with his workout style. For a man who's 400 pounds, all you need to do to lose weight is walk. It's like if me or you decided to walk up a fucking mountain with our twin on our back. That's the kind of comparison we're at here. All he needs to do is walk, but walking takes a bit of time. He'd rather put up a 30-second video and then say, wow, guys, that's me. And that's it. He claims he's talked to professionals and they've told him to do this. I don't believe him in any way. You don't get to be that weight with that bad of teeth if you go to healthcare professionals and you actually listen to them and you actually do what they say. So, my biggest issue is Boogie actually released this on pretty much all social media and he actually got a decent number of views for it. Problem is, he doesn't really follow through with it. And look, he's going to claim, oh, I was doing it because see these tweets where I said I can't wait for my workout today. The problem is he doesn't show it. Like, Boogie is someone who likes attention, he likes positive attention especially, and he likes money. It would be very, very easy for him to put up once a week his workout on YouTube because he hasn't really done anything on YouTube. He's posted 2 videos so far this week. And yes, I am recording this on Sunday morning, so maybe he's posted one in the meantime. But at the minute, he's only posted 2. One of them being this video. Why doesn't he do one every single day? This is his biggest viewed video in a while. He could make money as the inspirational 400-pound fat man who's losing weight. But he's clearly not working out. Because if he was, it's just as easy to film it and post it online to be given $50 every time you do it, pretty much. So, yeah, I don't believe him at all. So, yeah, that's the positive part of the week gone for him at least. He's getting his life in order. He's definitely getting up at 9 a.m. every morning, and, he's pretending to exercise every day. It's all that good stuff. Unfortunately, though, the drama from last week hasn't quite gone away yet, and people are still wondering what he meant by that terrible boomer joke. So, of course, he runs back in there just to explain himself. The problem is every explanation's fucking different. Because firstly, he claims he's just shitting on the event because, they're trying to pretend they're the first to have 2 women fight. Even though it's obvious if you heard of it, it's clear that they meant that they're the first to have 2 female YouTubers fight. But then, it's just a joke, bro. No meaning at all. Oh, but then actually it's not. He didn't like the commentary guys, so he was just shitting on them. But it doesn't even mean anything because he's not actually a progressive, suddenly. And then, lol, never mind. He's just a shit poster, guys. He didn't mean anything. Why so mad? It's obvious he just was falling out with iDubbbz at the time and taking shots at iDubbbz, so he's just taking shots at his event in general whilst trying to pretend to be progressive. It's the standard Boogie shit. And don't worry, I know we're going to do your favourite part here because he hasn't finished fighting with other YouTubers either. Clearly still seething from Jackson calling him out about lying about Charlie on the official podcast, which Boogie has since gone back and deleted that tweet. He decided to respond to a Jackson tweet that was over a week old, where Jackson criticized his big brain take that America under Biden is similar to Nazi Germany. But don't worry, Boogie worked out today. He's in a good mood. The endorphins are flowing. Obviously, he sat down, took a deep breath. No, he didn't. Of course, he didn't. He just immediately tells Jackson he's a hate boner for him, accused him of missing the obvious empathizing with the people in Nazi Germany. Oh, actually, no, never mind. That wasn't true. It was actually he was being sarcastic. Also, he's just fed up with having to defend himself from evil people like Jackson punching down at him and crying about his obvious joke because it's a joke now. So he's done with Jackson. He can't be bothered with it anymore. No more of this. He's done. Never mind. Sorry. He actually posted again to say that he's so hurt by this and fuck you, Jackson. Now he's done with Jackson. And then he starts acting like a 15-year-old girl and starts fucking retweeting quotes saying only hurt people hurt people. I've tried to record that like 6 times and it's so fucking lame. So yeah, then of course he just starts fighting with every single fan for criticizing him. He was only joking, guys, and the joke was hilarious, by the way. He then deletes all the messages. Someone then points out his hilarious, awkward history with the word Nazis, and then he pretends that he was so upset about calling all his trolls Nazis that he went on a 2-year hiatus from making videos. That's factually incorrect. Does he think we can't see his fucking YouTube channel where all his videos are still fucking listed? Of course he never stopped. He just pretended he's going to kill himself to try and make people feel sorry for him. And because Boogie, okay, just look, Boogie, I know, I know you listen to these now. You have played your hand too early by fucking blocking me as a random 60 subscriber fucking account. I know you watch this. So everyone else, fast forward 45 seconds. I need 45 seconds, just me and Boogie here to have a nice wee chat. Boogie, unblock me, DM me, whatever the fuck. I don't mind. I'm actually a really nice person to talk to. Yeah, kinda. But seriously, dude, just pick one. Pick one person to fight with. I don't care what category you use to fucking pick this person. Pick the whitest, malest man in the room so no one can accuse you of being a bigot. Or pick the person with the weebest, weirdest anime lover profile I've ever seen. Just pick whatever you want. Argue with them and tell everyone else who wants to have a go at you. I refer you to the thread with anime waifu lover Big Dick 69. Please read the thread there if you have any questions on this matter. Because every time you argue with someone new, you change your argument slightly. Because this has gone from being a joke to not a joke to sarcasm to not sarcasm to empathy to sympathy to shitpost to not a shitpost to you actually being afraid of the US government because of Roe versus Wade taking away women's rights. Yes, somehow I'm serious about that. To oh shit, never mind, you just don't trust the government anymore, just like the people in Nazi Germany did. Oh wait, never mind. It's obvious sarcasm designed to invoke empathy, whatever the fuck that's meant to mean. Look, people even have to wade in and tell Boogie to stop because no one cares, and somehow Boogie blames Jackson for this, even though Jackson has commented fucking once and hasn't responded to any of these 30 fucking tweets. And then, after all that, Boogie makes a video for the mean bully jerks to pretty much tell everyone that they all suck and you should leave him alone and don't follow him if you're just going to get angry about everything he says, all that usual shit. Look, Boogie, no one gets actually angry about the things you say. People follow you to laugh at you because you are the joke. You know this. You've called yourself a lol cow plenty of times, so let's stop trying to do this really the really cringy, like 15-year-olds, like, I'm not mad, you're mad, I'm not mad, you're mad kind of shit, which is just fucking, oh, mate, dude, my dude, oh, don't, oh, it just, I feel it inside me as someone who, like, remembers myself from that stage in life to see, like, someone who is, like, fucking, they're twice my age, you know, still acting like that. This is why I say, no one gets mad at you when you claim to have a secret 19-year-old Swedish supermodel girlfriend who lives in Canada. You know, people don't get mad or jealous as you keep saying over and over again. They laugh at the idea that a 400-pound man who is nearly 50 years old is trying to pretend to a bunch of fucking nobodies online that he's like a Sigma mindset super stud. It is the most hello fellow kids shite I have ever seen. But yeah, also in this video, Boogie blames his stupid takes on, duh, I'm dumb, guys. The whole thing I've already said, it's just a shield. He doesn't actually think he's dumb. He just brings it up when everything else fails. But yes, quite a war he had there. I'm sure you're all wondering, did Jackson respond? Kinda, I guess. A wee bit, like, the next day. Pretty much just posting up to say that Boogie's blocked him, and also points out that Boogie claimed that living in Nazi Germany sucked was sarcasm. And it's not a good look to say that because you're kind of implying that living in Nazi Germany didn't suck if you say that's a bit that's sarcasm. But yeah, that's really the last we hear from Jackson on the whole matter. Is it the last we hear from Oh god, no. Oh god, no, it is not. But don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. Because Boogie clearly doesn't see this message. So when he wakes up on the 17th, and yes, guys, I am only up to the 17th, and we are fucking 13 minutes into this. He then decides to post a lengthy apology to everyone for how he's been behaving recently on Twitter and how he's going to do better, guys. He then proceeds to argue with fucking everyone in the replies, respond to every single negative message, including just randomly accusing people of making several new accounts every day to troll him, even though the person he's accusing has been on Twitter for like 5 months at this time, and there are no new accounts shitting on him. It's just weird to watch a man just like tear his own arsehole out whilst he just tries to shit on people. It is so weird. But yeah, he's just seething so hard because his apology and I'll do better arc lasted about 32 seconds. He wants to complain about how TikTok is the best platform ever, and this becomes like a recurring theme throughout the week since he routinely then complains that Twitter's shit because everyone hates him and gets offended, and YouTube shit because all the videos are too long. I guess that's a bad thing, but yeah, to show his example of why he likes Twitter, he shows this.
White people, what do black people smell like to you?
I'll take the bait. I've dated 3 different black women in my life, and you know what they smelled like? Vanilla. cocoa butter, lotion, and love.
Okay, firstly, what do you mean you're gonna take the bait? Like, if someone said to me, "I'm gonna take the bait," this black guy said, "What do black people smell like?" I'll take the bait. I'll be like, "Oh God, he's gonna say something probably racy here. Might be funny, like might be a bit of comedy, but it's probably gonna be a bit for everyone involved. But it might be funny, you know. Just kind of putting yourself out there. I wouldn't expect the person to stand and say, just so everyone's aware, I quite like black people, and that's it. Like that's okay, congratulations, such a brave stance you took there. But it's also he also calls it a joke and a shitpost in his thing. So are you saying that you were joking that black people smell nice? Is that the joke? Like, what the fuck's the joke? Like, you know, if you're saying it's a joke that black people smell nice, and that's kind of rude, and I kind of see why so many people call you a racist, I guess. But yeah, it's just it sums up his whole Twitter thing. It's just him trying to ass pat himself repeatedly to say how progressive he is. But I'll cover all this later on. The funniest thing is, look, he says, "Okay, I've had 3 black girlfriends," and no one fucking believes him because Boogie previously said he's had 5 serious relationships. Then he's also said he's actually only had 6 serious relationships before he got married, obviously. Then in November 2020, he claimed he's only ever slept with 7 women. But then in July 2021, he claimed he'd been in 20, well, at least 20 real relationships. So unless, I don't know, maybe for 14 of them, he only held hands or something like that. But yeah, we're aware that he hasn't been in a real relationship since his divorce, and the closest was the Lucy Fox thing. However, he admitted himself later on, I don't know, maybe just to discredit her, that she was just a sugar baby, so he was paying her for her attention, and they stopped hanging out when he wouldn't keep paying her. So I don't really know unless he considers prostitutes like real relationships. Which Boogie, I'm going to talk to you once again. Everyone, skip ahead 10 seconds. Boogie, prostitutes are not real relationships. Sugar babies and escorts and all that shit. That is not a real relationship. All right, everyone else, jump back in now. Out of boys. But yeah, it's just kind of fucking weird if I'm being really honest with you. And like, I'm not even the only person asking him where is the joke in this apparent joke post? And his take on what his joke was is that it's apparently the juxtaposition of his sweetness to what you'd expect a racist to say. Like, okay, I guess. Like, really? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just find it so weird that he will tell someone, I hope you die, or in another post, I like black people. And then he will say both are shitposts because he clearly has no idea the fuck a shitpost or a joke is. And then, yes, when all that fails, all the apologizing, fighting, arguing, liking how black people smell, when all that fails, he goes straight for the telling the fans that he constantly wants to die. And I guess he just needs more DMT. Am I right, boys? So, yeah, okay, look. Boogie's obviously having a bit of a bad night. It's the early hours now. You know, Boogie, he should be getting to bed soon because obviously he gets up at 9 a.m. every morning, guys. Come on, you know that. He gets up every 9 a.m. every morning for his workout. Well, it's about 3 a.m. And, you know, what would you do at 3 a.m. in the morning? Oh, obviously, you would unblock Jackson to go fucking nuts at him, to call him aggressive, a psychopath, a stalker, obsessed, an asshole, a bully, punching down, not an adult, all this stuff. You know, you'd go absolutely fucking nuts at him. Tweet him like 20 times when Jackson is clearly sleeping in his fucking bed so he can't respond. You know, just like a jealous ex-girlfriend or something like that. So much so that your fans are even coming out being like, you have gone off the rails, just go to sleep, dude. Then, of course, you're going to blame your anxiety order for the whole thing. And then people are going to tell you you're just doing this for attention. And Boogie says pretty much he wants positive attention. All this kind of stuff until eventually you have to suicide bait once again by saying that the only solution is to eat cyanide because you're just that kind of guy. Now, you might have noticed that I keep saying Jackson isn't actually responding to this, but for some reason, Boogie keeps implying that Jackson is obsessed with him. So I decided to look into it. So Jackson has tweeted the name Boogie2988 5 times since the creation of his channel. Now, all of them were positive. 2 of them were direct tweets, even like wishing him well and checking up on him. Now, since the start of this year, Jackson's tweeted 3 times in regards to Boogie. May 9th, which was him calling out Boogie's really stupid take on the Nazis, and it was really stupid. May 14th, which is him responding to correct Boogie because Boogie was shitting on Charlie for being involved in the drama, even though Charlie wasn't. which is really funny because Boogie's now saying how much he loves Charlie and is upset that Charlie would even be friends with Jackson, which is, classy. The last is May 17th, which is Jackson directly responding to Boogie freaking out at him, which means that Jackson's tweeted 3 times, 2 of which are direct responses to Boogie calling him out, and Boogie's tweeted, like, if you include all the ones people didn't get a chance to archive, I don't know, 40 times. So, yeah. Boogie is just sitting in his corner seething and screaming because Jackson won't have a conversation with him. People point out over and over again to him that Jackson only has 30,000 followers, whilst Boogie has over 500,000. But Boogie still considers it punching down because Jackson is like one of 4 hosts on the official podcast, which gets good views. Like, is it really like this is all a Twitter fight? So what the fuck are you even talking about? It's just Boogie doing his standard thing where pretty much he can freak out in public, but if you have more subscribers or more followers or whatever arbitrary thing he decides to stop you from being able to shit on him in return, nah, you can't do it. You either have to do it in private and be nice to him, or you have to invite him to your podcast so he gets attention. And yes, it was the next morning that I woke up and found out I was blocked, so I don't really know if he just kind of went on like a psychotic blocking spree, or do you know what? I like to imagine maybe he was in such a bad mood because he watched my, highly produced, fantastic videos. Fuck, he knows. Boogie finally goes to sleep, and when he wakes up the next day, he decides to ask for memes because he's sad. That doesn't work, so of course he then says a funny joke about how there's only 2 genders because, he doesn't want there to be more than 2 genders because it's hard enough getting turned down by 2 genders at the minute. It'd be sucked if it was more. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. And then he thirst posts and talks about how his friends are like OnlyFans girls and they tell him trader secrets. It's really funny, like lol. And then he films himself fat boxing and says he wants to be the Blob. It's so funny, guys. It's so funny, so funny. He also just thirst posts spell Delphine again because it's not really creepy when a 50-year-old man does that. He also then posts up a Francis video, and I'll sum it up for you. It's terrible. It's just terrible. There's nothing to it. He can't even do the voice anymore. There are no jokes. He doesn't rage or anything. It's awful. And just so you know, guys, I've had to watch it 3 times because on Boogie's live stream, he made the entire audience sit and watch it and type in funny when we thought something was funny and laugh when we laughed at it. And then he ignored the shit out of me every time I typed not funny. I was seriously waiting to see if I got banned again because it's the same name on both, but no, I think he just ignored me for that one. It has done terrible though, and you can tell that he knows it's done terrible because he has retweeted it over and over and over again because no one's fucking watching it. It took 2 days just to get 20,000 views. He also suddenly has an issue with people talking about the Amber Heard case, which is weird because he's talked about it pretty much every single day so far. He also then retweets some guy who says he's going to the gym working out just so he gets his dick sucked and saying, "Oh, this is going to get me in trouble someday." And it just feels like he's really just trying to bait attention at this point because nothing is happening today. He then films himself in the bath getting his face licked by his really fucking ugly dog. And people just tell him, well, why don't you just close the door if you don't want to get your face licked by your dog when you're in the bath? And then he says that he can't because his dog kind of barks a tiny amount. First world problems, I guess. But yeah, the 19th is just quite boring, actually. Nothing really happens. He uploads this teaser for a Francis video that's coming next week, but it's Francis, it's in public, and has magic cards. He rips them up. 100% he's going to eat one before the end of the video. I am 100% right with this. If he doesn't, I will subscribe to Boogie's channel for 1 month next time he does a live stream. And I know I won't have to because I am fucking right. There's not a lot on the 20th. It is him talking about his workout a lot and how his back's sore and his injuries to his back and his shoulder and everything like that. But there's not a lot to it. The main thing then is when we get a live stream on the 20th, which once again he doesn't archive. Even though people call him out for it, he acts really surprised and say, "Oh, well, don't worry, guys. I've fixed it. It's going to be archived this time." And then obviously it didn't archive because Boogie doesn't want them archived because he knows full well that if people archive it, people, like me, are going to look at it, look at his stupid points and be able to get audio clips as opposed to just someone like me watching it and then I can just kind of talk about it. Yeah, unfortunately, because my system's stuffed at the minute, I can't archive it myself. I've asked a few people to see if they can get it archived, but we'll see what we can do for next time because he's definitely not going to change it. There's a few funny moments though. Like at the start, he does some like shadow boxing, like touches his toes, and then he's like, "Oh, that's good," because usually that would get me out of breath. Whilst he's very clearly out of breath. He's also like clearly fatter than he has been in a while. He also said he's drinking up to 4 diet sodas a day now, so got this like big opaque gallon jug to put water in, and he says he drinks so much water he's not hungry. Like, look, I've done that before where I've been like cutting and I would drink so much water that I'm not hungry. The problem is you piss constantly, but he'll sit down and do like a live stream for like 2.5 hours and not need to go to the toilet. So I don't buy that at all. I just don't. It's absolutely fucking nonsense. Then a fair bit of the stream is just him sitting back in his chair, not really saying anything, just watching other people's streams and other people's videos. And it's just like, why suddenly someone would bring up Sunny V2 to him, who's a really good YouTuber who makes like really high quality like drama videos. And then Boogie would be like, "Oh, I really like his videos. He does great work. Oh, except the videos he's made on me because they're all totally inaccurate. However, every other video apparently is totally accurate and totally great. It's just the ones about Boogie that are inaccurate." Boogie also brings up something about crypto again. Last stream, he had mentioned how he lost at least six figures, but this time he's talking about how he needs donations. But oh, if you don't want to donate though, it's okay because I make enough money anyway, and my employees still get paid. And obviously people are like, you have employees, and he's like, oh, I have one. Oh, actually, I mean, I have a one and maybe another one because he realized he sounds stupid because he said employees instead of employee. But it's just Boogie being Boogie. Easily the most interesting part of the entire stream, though, is when he goes into his autobiography, which I had no idea he was writing. Apparently, it's like 60 pages long right now, and I would love if he released it because he reads 2 chapters off it, which really is only like 12 paragraphs in total, so he really needs to work on his chapter length. But the first one is all about being a child in a house full of child abuse, and it's so over romanticized and clearly fake in a way of it's what he has pictured in his head this is like, and it is like he has romanticized and fixed this memory in his head to be more interesting than it probably was. And I find that really interesting. So if he actually said people buy this, I would fucking 100% buy it. The second chapter, though, is even more interesting because it's about him and his wife, because it shows what he thinks is important in a relationship. Because it is seriously like, oh yeah, me and this girl we met and bonded because of like her brother or something like that, fucking killing themselves. And then when he actually talks about the relationship aspect of it, it's pretty much like we went to lots of restaurants and we went to Disneyland and we also went to lots of conventions. Because in his head, that's all like a relationship is like going out and eating and going on holidays. Because in his head, that is literally it. Like, it's really telling and kind of scary if that's what he thinks a relationship actually is. And it's probably why he thinks that these like escorts and prostitutes that he pays to be near him, why he thinks they're dating him because they're not. He just assumes they are because they went out and fucking had dinner together. It's kind of weird. The 21st in general is actually kind of shitty. Like, it's just him trying to make a lot of jokes and none of them stick. Like, he'll say, like, oh, I've researched this and this Putin person doesn't seem very good of a person. I was like, "Ugh, okay, you've made that joke so many times before. Where it's like, I've looked into it and Putin doesn't seem nice. Oh, I've looked into it and Hitler doesn't seem nice. It's a boring joke. It's a joke your granny would make. It's not interesting. You make a joke that all people with like tattoos and danger hair, like all girls, are like bipolar and the sex with them's great, but then they'll stab you. And like I said, it's just. But yeah, at this point, I don't even believe you've ever had sex. So can you stop talking about it and being like thirsty posting? It's just kind of sad. The whole "don't horny post on men" really should apply to you. He also posts up some random TikTok girl and calls her out for being cringy because she's messing around with her bird. And this is really weird coming from a guy who cries fucking constantly about people punching down at him. But he will post this girl up with her TikTok handle very clearly showing, and this girl is very clearly fucked up on drugs. And he is very happy to post her and shit on her. Like, for a guy who cries constantly about bullying and punching down, that is literally what he's doing with this woman when she's in quite a vulnerable state because she is very clearly fucked up on drugs. So it sums up Boogie. It sums up Boogie so much that this is the kind of shit he does. But it sums him up even better with the next clip.
Story time. I know this is going to sound like I'm blowing myself up here, but this story has a point to it. So about a month ago, I was in the pet store shopping around, looking around, and I noticed a guy wearing a H3 sweatshirt. And he immediately recognized me, approached me, wanted to talk to me. And we did the usual fan meet stuff like, hi, how are you doing? Take a photo together, get to know each other, find out what they watch on YouTube and stuff. And I asked him a question. I was like, are you okay? Because it didn't seem like it was okay. And he gave me the polite answer, which was, yeah, I'm fine. And so as we were talking, I brought it back up a second time. Man, it seems like you're going through a lot. Like, you want to talk? And so we talked for a good while there in that store. And he's going through so much. I'm not going to out his life story here, but he's going through so much health problems, mental health problems, depression, anxiety, you name it. He's going through it. And I got his phone number. And we've been texting off and on ever since. And in fact, we're probably going to the Pride Parade together on his birthday here in Fayetteville. So I think that's kind of cool. But the point of the story is not to just make myself sound like a good guy, because I do this kind of stuff every once in a while.
I'm going to jump in here because the rest of the video is just him going, "Hey guys, I'm just saying this just to say that we should be nice to each other. No other reason. I'm just saying we should be nice to each other. I'm not bringing this up for any other reason." Like, it's one, a very clearly fake story. Two, it's so funny that he's just like, this guy was wearing like H3 branded gear. It's like, why did you have to fake that bit, especially like, because like no one wears like H3 branded gear out in public when they're going to the fucking pet store. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You literally included a bit where like we then talked about what YouTube channels they're watching. Why didn't you just have them say I like H3 at that point? But of course, he met this guy a month ago. You know, the time that the H3 drama had started. Doesn't mention the drama at all, but then suddenly his fucking X-Men powers activate and his super empath ability detects after 30 seconds of talking to this guy about YouTube channels that this guy is like deeply suicidal, and he detects that he's not doing okay because Boogie is such an empathetic person, you know, clearly, as he calls out fucking women addicted to drugs publicly on fucking Twitter. But yeah, no, apparently he can just detect this guy's sad and he gave him his phone number, which he would never fucking do. Especially not to a guy wearing H3 gear, when last week Boogie was accusing Ethan Klein of going to get him murdered because he's saying because Ethan Klein was talking publicly about how shit he was, it could cause someone to show up at his house and murder him. That is literally what Boogie said about Ethan Klein last week. So there's no way he's going to think, oh, this random guy dressed in H3 gear in public after I think he's trying to get me murdered is a nice guy. I'll just give him all my fucking personal details. It is so bad. Like, how have you been doing this for so long and you're very clearly a manipulator? Are you so bad at making up lies? Like, okay, at the end of this video, I'm going to make up a story. One take. I promise you that. One take. I'm going to make up a story. I'm just going to start it. I'm not going to plan it ahead of time. And we'll see how much better mine is than his. Could be absolute dog shit. So stay if you want to stay to listen to that bit. Don't stay if you don't want to listen to that bit. But I'll tell you when I'm going to do it so you can tune off if you're not interested. But yeah, it's just so bad. It's so deliberately fake. Like, in my opinion, Boogie clearly thinks very lowly of his audience if he thinks his audience will buy this shite. And it made people start talking because there's a lot of times when Boogie will say stories about people like, oh yeah, when I was arrested and went to prison, there were people outside protesting my arrest. There's no pictures of them. There's nothing on Twitter about that. You know, surely if I was out there protesting something, I would have tried to get a wee bit more attention to it. I wouldn't have just gone by myself and not mentioned it to anyone. I would have taken a selfie or something like that. No, there's nothing. Oh, Boogie's claimed he's saved lives. He's been on the phone for hours with people, talking them down. He's sent emails and letters to people who were going to kill themselves. They never come forward. Like, they never come forward. Like, Keanu Reeves is known as the nice guy of Hollywood because when he does something nice, everyone rushes to Reddit and to Twitter to talk about how nice he is. But no one does that for Boogie. But if Boogie is seriously out there, like, saving lives and, like, really helping people and, like, taking hours out of his time to sit down and talk to people, you think someone by this point would have fucking tweeted about it. But no, no one does because they don't exist. Now, earlier on I mentioned I wanted to touch on his TikTok, and I would like to do that briefly, because what you see before you is pretty much the videos he's uploaded on TikTok since last week, whilst on YouTube he's uploaded one 5-minute Francis video, and then the exercise video that you see before you as well. In my opinion, Boogie is moving towards being more of a Twitter and TikTok star, as opposed to a YouTube star. And the reason is just simple. It's just there's no effort behind it. Like look at these videos. Like most of them, he's shirtless in it because he can't even be bothered putting on a fucking shirt. So he'd rather just sit there, not have to put any effort into it, get a couple thousand views. Whilst a YouTube video, you're going to spend hours editing, hours like planning it and scripting it and stuff like that. And if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. And then, especially for him, who's probably going to get 20,000 views, in his head, he just thinks TikTok's easier, it's faster, and it does kind of let him just be a bit of a creep. You know, he sits there on TikTok and he makes everything political. He makes everything a look at me, I'm so fat kind of video, and it's very lowbrow. But that's what TikTok is. TikTok's aimed at a much younger audience nowadays. So, look at me, I am fat. Video is more than likely going to actually get more views than on YouTube. He also likes to duet with 18-year-old girls, which is kind of creepy, but we've always known that about Boogie, to be fair. So I just want to touch on this very, very quickly because I think more than likely we're going to see him start to move away from YouTube and he's going to upload only when he needs a bit of a boost in money. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that malarkey. Stick a comment down below, especially if you thought anything was funny or I was shite with something like that. I'd appreciate it. But right now the video's over. I'm just gonna kind of go into the channel update and then that wee story thing if anyone's particularly interested in that. I think it could be fun to try. But I really want to say thank you so much for everyone who's watched, especially for like my monetizing mental health thing, which I really did not think was going to hit 1,000 like views. Especially like, I think it was 2 weeks it took to hit it. Like I was insane. Like I thought when I started this, I think I had like 15 subs. I was like, oh well, do you know what? I'm probably gonna be getting like 10 views a video if I'm really lucky here. I don't even think I'll get as many as I have subs. So it's crazy that I've actually kind of done so well. Like I appreciate the help immensely from people who shared it and liked it and shouted me out and all this stuff. It's really cool and I really do appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Um, I still enjoy doing this, so hopefully I keep enjoying doing this. Like, I'm not sure how many more Boogie videos I really want to make. I think doing the weekly thing is a wee bit silly. He's just had a couple of really bad weeks, but I'd like to go on to doing the Return to Resident Evil. Sorry, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City story one. Um, Pretty much I've got a lot of it scripted. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff in regards to it. I've watched the movie a few times and I really like to do a deep dive into it. So I don't know if anyone's a fan of Resident Evil, but I like to do that. And then I'd quite like to do the Halo series as well because I'm a big fan of Halo. But I've heard CBS has been really strict with the copyright on it, so oh, fuck, who knows? Who knows if I'd be able to do it or if I'd get hammered with copyright strikes. So we'll see what the crack is. But yes, thank you so much again, guys. And then I'm going to pause here. I'm going to go into my story and then we'll see how that goes. Now, one thing a lot of people say to me is they don't really know why I started this channel. And honestly, I didn't really know why I started for a long time as well. I thought I wanted to do it as a hobby, but it's really I wanted to get closer to certain people I appreciate. Because if you're just a viewer, no one cares about you. But once you upload videos, that's when people start really caring about you. And honestly, I got that opinion from Boogie because I spoke to him very briefly. It was a long, long time ago. It was one of the times he was at Retropalooza back in 2016, 2015. I can't even remember what it was then. I remember he was quite heavy, so it was definitely before his surgery. But I spoke to him and he wasn't overly interested in speaking to me, and I don't know. I felt bad about the whole thing, but I thought, like you see Jesse, McJuggernuggets, Carpetbagger, everyone like that, he actually pays attention to them. And you kind of know the reason why, and it's because they're producers. They're like him, they're like a step above the normal people who don't really produce. But then you see him like with Ethan Klein, you see him with Keemstar, you see him with fuck, I don't know, anyone really who has more subs than him, and he's the one who chases them. He wants their attention. So I was thinking, I wanted to be Boogie, and he didn't want anything to fucking do with me. So if I can go above him, surely he would want to be around me then. So that's why I'm here, guys. And yeah, it's selfish, but I thought, fuck it, why not? I had my heart broken once, and I'm going to see about being the heartbreaker for once now. I have no idea what the fuck that story was. Oh, that was fucking weird. I don't know. I think I was about to get fucking riding with Boogie then at the end of it. Aye, yeah. Um, yeah. But by the way, that's not a real story in any regards. I'm pretty sure anyone knew that. But yeah, no, I've never met Boogie before. Thank fuck. And I wouldn't go to Retro Palooza because I've once touched a woman. So no.